these ladies are a hard act to follow. And I don't know, 60% women in Avenue Code and they all look superb. What's the secret? So I'm just a sister and I'm very, very pleased to be here. I remember when I first got to know Avenue Code, this lady asked me if I would participate, and I'm thinking, who is Avenue Code? And she said to me, it's about women empowerment. And normally, as the two colleagues of mine mentioned, you're too busy surviving as women. So people say, and by the way, I know I look very young, right? I have been in IT for 35 years. And survived. My journey began when I'm an immigrant in Canada. I have been there most of my life, but I grew up in Vienna, and my parents are Iranians. So at some point in time, I had this belief, who am I and what am I? And people would say, where are you from? And I had to stop and think. I'm a citizen of the world. And with that, you have a lot of learnings. Learnings about adjusting, about being resilient, about surviving, about creating your own families, creating support mechanisms. Because when you leave a country behind and you leave your families, you really lose a lot of your roots. And then you have to think, how do I create those roots? Where are they? And who are these people that can support me in this journey? So at the end of the day, we all realize we are all lonely, so we need these networks. There are families, there are friends, and more important than anything, there are sisters. Now sisters come in different ways. They're the ones you are born into, like blood sisters by blood. I have two amazing sisters. They're your cousins you call sisters. They're your best friends. You meet them in your community work. You meet them in the church. You meet them wherever, wherever you hang out. But somehow our hearts connect. And we create this commitment, this belief, this thing that I'm responsible for you. I'm not just going to mentor you or be an ally. I'm going to intervene. I'm going to be there. And being a woman in IT, I must tell you, has been an arduous journey. And then being an executive, equally as difficult. Because we think about what IT has become, but think about the world of executives. Most of my jobs, I was the only woman. In most IT organizations, I kept looking at the stats and I got discouraged. Why aren't we attracting women into IT? IT creates prosperity, creates future, gives everyone a chance to compete. Why can't we create those jobs? And it's the naked truth. The environment is not designed. We have drank the Kool-Aid. For centuries, we have believed that women are inferior. We have believed, because women did not have access to education, they did not have the opportunities, they were not supported. Somewhere along the way, this erroneous belief became a reality. This is the fake news, by the way. Don't drink that Kool-Aid. It's nonsense. And there are many women who don't believe this, and the new generation doesn't believe this. We perpetuate it, but it's not true. The truth is women and men and all genders and all orientations are created equal. The truth is we create our own realities. And the truth is we are all accountable. If you ever think you're off the hook, you're not. I can tell you that in my few years in IT, and I can tell you I saw many of my colleagues leave. Women in IT leave at 35. Did you know that? They enter our field with aspirations and dreams. And along the way, they have to face the truth. The truth is these environments are not created equally. There are many biases embedded in these environments. The hiring managers look at women who have all the qualifications, but when the man next door has aspirations, has leadership capabilities. So somewhere along the way, we are pretty hard on ourselves. And our systems, the way we hire, the way we support each other, are broken. And people go, oh, we are better off than we were before. I don't buy that, I'm sorry. If governments have to pass legislation so there is pay equity, what does that tell you? Why should governments pass legislations? Why don't companies just do the right things? Why does government has to pay laws that you have women on the boards? So I'm going to give you a few strategies. By the way, I don't have the answers. I'm on this journey, I'm just a sister. At times I get so frustrated that I have to talk myself down and say, things are getting better, you know. Just accept that we are imperfect and we are work in progress. But women deserve absolutely better. So what I'm about to share with you in the few moments I have left are about strategies. By the way, there are many strategies. There are many books written. We must educate ourselves. And we should never assume that only women support women. We should never assume that all men think the same way, because then we have biases. What we want to clear ourselves of prejudice. We are born and bred with prejudice. There are all kinds of prejudice. It's not just gender, it's race, it's background, it's status. Get rid of all this nonsense, which is nonsense, because people are intelligent, brilliant beings that have a lot to offer to each other and to the environment around them. And when we talk about women in IT will change the world, and I can guarantee you that that's the case. Because when we think about IT and compare us to a few years ago, what do we see? We see inequity. We don't see access to loans. We don't see people having access to education. IT brought that about. Unfortunately, in the field of IT, we now see gender biases. In the field of IT, which brought about so much innovation and change, we see biases. How did we get here? Where did we miss it? So let's just change it, you know? Let's stop this nonsense. Anyway, I'm going to get off this soapbox. And by the way, I'm at my best behavior right now, because don't get me started. So let's look at this business of the only woman in the room asking to get the coffee. I would even clean the room so my assistant didn't have to. I didn't want her to clean up after the guys. I thought, why can't you take your own cup? Put it in the kitchen. But it seems we don't bring up our sons like that. I tell you, if I had a son, I don't. He would take that coffee cup and put it in the kitchen. I have been in situations where I present this brilliant idea and someone immediately repeats it and people go, wow, what a great idea. Now in my 30s, I would just go, this is so unfair. Today, I go, excuse me, did I not just say that? Or do you need someone to decode what I said? Like, am I speaking some foreign language? No? Very good. That's what I just said. So have the courage to say. The second thing is, if someone says, oh, Sandy just said this, let me tell you what she meant. Excuse me, why don't you listen to what she said versus repeating? So my friends, my sisters, these are things that are like trends in our society. So let's listen more carefully. Next time a woman speaks, let's say, what did you mean? Can you please repeat it? What an amazing idea. The other thing I'm going to say, have you ever been in a meeting room where there is the table and there are chairs outside? And have you noticed women sit in the outer circle? Why is that? Anyone knows? I don't know. Do we want to be invisible? No. So what I do, I rearrange the room. I ask the guys to take the back seats. I don't let the ladies sit in the front. And I must tell you, COVID did something amazing for me. It totally changed me as if I wasn't difficult before. I'm like, life isn't worth it. Why am I taking this? Don't repeat what I said. Don't try to explain what I said. And give me the space, and give my sisters a bit of space. When you have been a CIO for 25 years, 30 years, and you have survived, people think you better watch out for that woman. So, I'm going to share with you something that, this is a book my sister gave me, but I must tell you, one of the best books I read was by Joanne Lipton. I don't know how many of you read it. That's what she said. Have you read it? I mean, there's so many books. I'm not endorsing any books, but I really think that's one of the books I really enjoyed reading. And she's very courageous, very bold, and the data is very factual. So I have experienced microaggressions. I have been in those spaces, but I can tell you what we can do is apply a few strategies that I'm going to share with you. But I'd like to start with this quote of this book. I was organizing my office, and I said this: sisters, they are the family we choose to surround us. The sisters bound by love instead of blood. They know when we are lonely and appear without being told. When we feel lost, they provide a map to what comes next. When we doubt, which we doubt as women often, okay? We have this voice inside us, not good enough, why didn't you say that, why didn't you do that? You can't do this, don't put your name forward. How many feel like that? Any? Good, not too many, I'm proud of you. When we doubt everything about ourselves, they remind us of who we are. And we are brilliant. So, this book is amazing. Let me tell you about some of the strategies I have deployed. If we can go to, where's my phone? You would think a woman in tech after so many years knows how to use her phone. Okay, so what do? We must really advance this concept. By the way, sisterhood doesn't mean that mentorship, allyship, and advocating isn't working. It is working. Those are strategies we deploy. But the sisterhood is something the indigenous women of many countries really understood, that it was the power of the collective, that you really watch someone and support them through their journey, and you're present. Now, what I have prepared here, and I'm going to cover it in 3 minutes because I took too long to introduce the topic, is, if we can go to the next page, and the next one. Are we in competition with our sisters? Do you feel women compete? Why is that? Is it a sense of scarcity? We shouldn't compete. You know why? There's enough for everyone. We should support women. We should advocate for other women. And I can tell you one more thing. I refuse to put a woman down. It's not that I haven't seen awful women in my 30 years. I have, okay? Don't think I'm a Pollyanna or lucky her, she never experienced these things. I experienced it firsthand. But let not have the generality suffer, because some women are women lookalikes. And I call them that, okay? And some men are amazing. So let's not generalize, let's not have any biases, but let's replace competition with cooperation. Next time we see a woman and someone says, oh, but you know, she has young children, maybe she doesn't want the role, or she didn't do so well in this project, we say, no, but let's give her a chance. Hey, you know, you may want to improve your skills in this field. The next thing is the biases. So replace competition with cooperation. And we have to be very intentional. Intentional means I'm going to intervene and help you. I'm going to advocate for you. I'm going to put your name forward. I'm going to make sure women get into management. You know why? Because when women are in management, more women get promoted. Did you know that? The Old Boys Network that was created by rich, educated men, I won't say what color, was not for girls. It wasn't for girls. What don't you see in Old Boys Network? What don't you see there? Women! Otherwise it would be All Girls Network, right? So we don't have that. So let's cooperate, let's collaborate, let's go out of our way. Any woman, anywhere, rather than look for issues and differences, let's go, what a brilliant woman, what a beautiful woman. And beauty is not external. We are only what? We are all energy and water, right? So beauty is inside. Beauty is not age, it's not race, it's not background, it's none of that. Beauty is inside. But what an amazing woman. And next time someone says something, say, I think to the contrary. When people say anything negative about any of my colleagues or friends, I go, really? You heard that? I have heard other things. So you know what? Let's have these strategies. Let's combat these beliefs which are erroneous and are eroding what humanity can become. Next one is, if we can go, are you sure you're going? The next one is breaking biases. Never underestimate our programming. Never. Many things we do are unconscious. Only a small percentage is conscious. Over centuries, women have been oppressed. It wasn't a long time ago we couldn't vote. We couldn't go to enjoy higher education. We couldn't own land. So in the grand scheme of things, in millennials, only over 100 or 200 years, women have had rights. So these biases are very deep rooted in our psyche, women and men. So let's be on top of these biases. And don't assume because we are women, we don't have biases. It's in our DNA. That doesn't mean we can change it. Education, awareness, intention, and belief in brilliance of our sisters will help us combat this. And the last one, and you can read a lot about this, by the way. And the last one is taking intentional action. Intentional action means I'll put myself out for you. I'll be there for you. I'll keep an eye. Next time I see an opportunity, I'm going to say, oh, you know, Brenda was really looking at this. Why don't I give her an opportunity? In actions is to make a better future for our daughters, our sisters, the women who come after us. We don't do things because they're convenient for us or they're better for us. That's great. You know, we have to look after our own growth and development, but what's more important? A future where equity and equality is not even a topic anymore. You know, I grew up with Star Trek, so Picard is my absolute hero. You know, so many years ago, there was Federation of Planets, and here on Earth, we can't even just enjoy equality and equity for everyone. So as women realize their light, they stand up for what's right. We do our part, rather than feel, oh, you know, things have been like this. Rather than become hopeless, we become fearless. Rather than accept the norms, we are here to change the norms. Because I believe if women run the world, we wouldn't have such a chaotic life. Okay? So I'll close with this one quote for you. And I must tell you my own life journey, my experiences at work. I say the scars on my back as the CIO. Even last week I told the CFO, are you the CIO? No, I know what I'm doing. So don't worry, I have this covered. So don't think it ever goes away. But make your days at work in communities count, because women are women, everything we stand for. You know, the work outside is very male programmed. Assertion, competition, those things are highly valued. We like to collaborate, we like to empathize, we like to be passionate. All these qualities are important. So let's put our best foot forward. And this is what I want to leave you with. And really, when you see another woman, by the way, don't exclude men, okay? We love them too. I grew up my father was amazing. He believed in equality, but this is what I leave you with. She is your mirror. So I see you, you're my mirror, okay? Shining back at you with a world of possibilities. A young woman, an older woman, doesn't matter. A world of possibilities. She's your witness who sees you at your worst and best and loves you anyway. She's your partner in crime, and I have two of them here, Amanda and Brenda. They work with me, two senior women at Terranet. She's your partner in crime and your midnight companion, someone who knows when you're smiling, even in the dark. So ladies, all the best to all.